Here's my ID. Have my name, picture. Alright. Alright, and for this project I chose the Lynas Refinery case. Alright, and so my name is Jalissa Hernandez, but I mainly go by Julie, and currently I'm attending Georgia Highlands, in which I'm enrolled in the pre-engineering program. And in the future I hope to get a bachelor's degree in environmental engineering. And at the moment I'm looking for internships that could help me get more involved in that field quicker. Alright, and my reasons for choosing the Lynas Corporation case is that it involved toxic waste and how it affected the residents and wildlife, and involving the beautiful culture and scenery and disrupting it, and how corporations continue to poison our world. Alright, and a little info about the Australian Lynas Corporation is that it's a rare earths mining company, in which it was founded by Nicholas Anthony Curtis in the 1980s, and this was around the time carbon emissions were at their highest. And currently, the corporation has 2 locations, a mining and concentration plant in Mount Weld, Western Australia, and a refinery facility in Kuantan, Malaysia. And the ironic thing about this corporation is in which they value sustainability, in which this injustice case was caused by them. Right. And so how this all started was that the conflict started on August 3rd, 2011, in which the Western Australian government granted permission for the corporation to build a processing plant in Meniere, which is further north of Malaysia. And so, in granting this permission, it came with specified social and environmental conditions. This was more ideal because of the sparse population, so no one was nearby to get affected by it. Arid land, so the land isn't going to be affected as much, and underground aquifers that supplied amber water, in which amber water is what helps in refining pure elements, which in this case is the rare metals. But instead, the corporation chose a Malaysian site. Choosing the Malaysian site was so that they wouldn't have to deal with the strict rules. And the scary thing about how this plant was created is that it was 2 kilometers from the nearest residential home. In another state nearby, they also have a toxic waste legacy. That legacy cost their government $10 million for the cleanup and affecting the population nearby, involving miscarriages for the women, birth defects in the children, early childhood leukemia because of the ineffective toxic waste management, and public health and safety measures. So no one really took care of that. And so they closed the plant in 1992. And the Lynas Corporation started building their plant without knowing the land as much as they should, and how their methods could affect the nearby environment. The environment being the estuary, the floodplains, marine and coastal ecosystems. Another thing is that they lied about their green ideology, boasting about how they can create lower carbon emissions when they did the opposite. And instead of protecting the land, they used it for their unclean needs. Right, and here's a map of Malaysia, and so you can see where Kuantan is, in which the plant was chosen for. As you can see, it can affect that whole area of water, and disrupting marine ecosystems. And here's how the plant got started, which I got from a picture from Time magazine. Alright, and so we'll start with this. Okay. In refining rare earth metals, the use of chemicals and reagents, it caused toxic work, which involved sulfuric acid, magnesium oxide, hydrochloric and phosphorus acid, and copious amounts of water, so it drained their water supply. And so this harmful waste created high levels of radioactivity. The amount of waste consisted almost 500 tons of wastewater every hour, 64,000 tons of radioactive gypsum, and other quantities of waste. This quantity seemed unlikely for the refinery to contain it all. There's a rumor that the gas waste, the water waste, could have not contained the substances